Yes, these are a lot noisier than the other tires. There's no doubt about it. They are significantly noisier. Well, it's that time of the year again, and the snow is starting to fall, or at least it's supposed to be falling. We're getting very little snow this year in southern New England, but this is my 2007 Jaguar XK, and I am putting snow tires on it because it is a daily driver. I drive it 4 days a week, and so I went a little bit overboard. I bought snow tires with studs, and probably not necessary, but I got a good deal on them, so what can I say? They were the right size and they were the right price. The big question is going to be, what does the car handle like afterwards? So this video is going to be a little bit about the tires, but it's also going to be about spacers, because I have to put spacers on the back of this car because it has rear wheels and tires that are wider than in the front, but not so much for the snow tires, because these wheels actually came from my XF, which I had before this car, and so I bought a second set of wheels with snow tires, and that car had same size front and rear. So to make it look reasonably decent, I have to do spacers. So we'll talk a little bit about spacers today. Let's have fun. Okay, so hopefully this is something you can see. So obviously we have the hub here. If I were to put the wheel on here, it would sit way too far inside the wheel well, and it just wouldn't look right. This is mostly an aesthetic thing. Another aesthetic thing that I tend to do, but I only do in the springtime, is I will paint this with an acid brush and a little bit of silver paint because it looks a lot better. I don't do it in the beginning of the winter season because it's just going to rust again. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is right now. But the way that just in case you've never seen a wheel, don't go anywhere. If you ever see the wheel spacer before, it literally just sits right on. Now there are two types of wheel spacers. There's this kind, which is the good kind, and then there's more of a universal kind that is literally just a spacer, and it's kind of star-shaped, and it doesn't fit around each individual lug. You don't want those. This is fitted perfectly for this particular hub. And then you have these very low profile nuts which go right on there. And so the other important thing to remember is that these tighten on with exactly the same torque that you tighten on the lug nuts. So whatever torque you use on the lug nuts, that's what you use here. So I'm going to have to retrieve that one that's underneath the car, and we'll crack on. tip is that make sure that if you have different wheels, that you have the proper lug nuts that go with those different wheels, because in this case they're different. So it has something to do with where this little triangular piece, I guess conical shaped piece, meets the wheel. So you don't want to get that wrong and have your wheel fly off on the Autobahn. Watch it not start. Not funny. All right, so this is how it looks. These wheels are super dirty. I cannot believe how dirty these wheels are. But if you look, they're still a little bit inside the wheel well in the back. So not really ideal, but pretty good. And it's a pretty good match for the front. So let's see how it drives. Kind of put the power down. These are noisy. All right, so we're back in the car. And the tires are very noisy, as I expected them to be. The handling seems to be fine. They do slide a little bit more, but mostly the noise is the most noticeable thing. The summer tires are snug and away in the up in the barn, in the loft, and yeah, it's a little bit hard to put power down. So I'm good at least for a couple of months in this car. So the thing is, my philosophy is that you're only as good as your daily driver, and I want to drive this Jaguar year-round, and so this is the sacrifice that I have to make. So until next time, I'll be seeing you.